To thank you for making Subway footlongs famous, now enjoy any regular footlong as a $5 footlong. That's right, any, including your favorites, like the savory chicken and bacon ranch. Any Subway regular footlong is just $5. Hurry in.
The BS Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects.
First of all,
This is the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
it might be cool, I don't know. And if it's not, I don't
The
care.
BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons works for ESPN. He's also named the sports guy, and he writes a comical sports column. He must be a popular dude.
The BS Report.
It's got a real dirty sound, like a rusty steak knife cutting through a well-aged steak.
Now.
Here's Bill Simmons.
All right, part 4 of the Mega March Madness Preview Podcast. If you missed part 1, Ryan Russillo and Chad Ford, we talked about the NBA draft prospects, and then Jacko came on at the end, talked about Corey Haim. Part 2, Chad Millman broke down all the Vegas implications and what the Sharps are looking at, and I actually learned more in that podcast than I think I've learned in any podcast I've ever done about like how they like certain coaches and dislike other ones. It was really interesting. Part 3, Cousin Sal and I went in a whole bunch of different directions, talked about prop bets, talked about different pools and auctions and all kinds of stuff. And now, part 4, the king of March Madness, our friend Joe House. What's happening?
Bringing up the rear.
Bringing up the rear.
Hey now.
Hi-oh.
Yeah, King of March Madness. I think that's perfect. Now that you got all the experts out of the way, it's time for the people's champion.
Well, you are. I mean, you've won more. I've been in pools with you for 20 years, and you've won more than all of my other friends combined.
The best part of all that is that last year was an abysmal, colossal disaster. Not only did the bracket that you and I did on the telephone together not beat the president, but it was like in the single digits of overall performance. It was like 7th percentile in the whole country.
Is that true?
Yeah, it was colossally bad.
So we have to improve that this year.
We set the bar pretty low.
All right. We're going to do the bracket right now.
Oh, we're going to do a bracket.
Yeah, let's do a bracket. We got to make up for that.
You pound one out.
We're going to be able to splice this podcast into some fun stuff. Bringing up the rear, pounding one out. Before we go, though, a couple things. What is your favorite? Are you a fan of the whole auction, going in, buying a team?
No, I don't like that. And you know why I don't like that? Because you get better odds from Vegas if you were to gamble, if gambling were legal.
Gotcha.
Those auctions, you know, for what you get and what you pay, you don't. The odds aren't as good.
What about tournament fantasy? Why haven't we perfected this? Why isn't it more popular? Why aren't we in like 3 leagues right now?
It's an excellent question, and I will tell you, nobody has even suggested or directed me to a link. I've not even seen it. Have you ever seen it?
We've done it a couple times, and Sal and I vowed on the podcast we did that we were going to start some sort of league and just make it points. But how hard would it be to just create some sort of something that we could all just be in a fantasy league and the categories would be points, assists, and rebounds, and that's it, combined together?
You know what? I lied. I actually have been in one before.
You've been in one with me.
Well, right. And they've been very, very, very basic, very fundamental. It's just been guys on teams and points, and that's it.
Right.
When you said fantasy, I started thinking, real fantasy.
Well, I was thinking another way to do it. Yeah, you're talking about real fantasy with complicated categories.
With sort of normal basketball categories.
Yeah, God forbid that we have that option. And then another way to do it, I think, would be to have a fantasy draft where you just pick teams and team wins.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm in for the very first time in my life, and the first time in my March Madness participation, I'm in a league where it's very simple. You pick one team a day. And with the added little wrinkle of if you pick a team on the very first day in the first portion of the day and that team loses, then you can buy back in for the full freight.
Oh, so that's a variation of the suicide pool Sal and I talked about.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know you guys. Okay, but that's right. It's a suicide pool.
And when can you stop buying in?
The second session of Thursday. No more buy-ins. As soon as that starts.
Second session of Friday or Thursday?
Oh, Friday.
Gotcha.
Friday.
That's
by
a good
whatever
one.
point the entire field has commenced play.
I told Sal that whole idea, and Sal spent about 2 hours studying what would be the best strategy for something like that. He loved it.
That's terrific. So I want his input. I can't wait to listen to the podcast.
Well, I mean, I think the strategy would be pretty simple. You'd want to avoid any of the top 10 teams in the first round.
Yes.
And maybe even try to avoid them in the second round.
Right.
Which would be tough, but,
yeah,
you're almost concentrating entirely on teams from like the 3 to 8 type range.
I think that's exactly right.
You don't want to leave, you don't want to shoot your wad on Kansas or Kentucky or any of those teams too early.
Yeah, that's good. So I feel a little validated because I will tell you that what I have done is take a look at the odds that Vegas has for just the lines on the 3-4 games. The 3 seeds and the 4 seeds, and that's my pool of teams for kind of this my Thursday Friday picks, and whichever of those lines are kind of highest, that's certainly going to be a factor in my thinking.
I would almost think that maybe you could expand that suicide pool so you have to pick 2 teams for the first 2 days.
Well, why don't we do that?
And I guess you can do it for the second 2 days, but I think for Thursday and Friday you should have to pick 4 teams total. And it doesn't have to be maybe not the same day, but you have to go 4 in the first 2 days, then 1 the rest of the way.
Well, we're going to be together the second half of this week, so let's get some of that going.
I like it.
Me too.
Yeah, we get that, and we'll get the fantasy. I'm going to get all those emails going today.
Yeah, let's get it going.
Because
it's madness.
Doing a point fantasy draft could not be that freaking hard. I'm sorry. I
agree. I mean, that all the websites these days, they're automated, they're sophisticated.
Well, I mean, you could just look at the total points and add them up. I mean, it's not hard.
I agree.
All right, let's go through the bracket.
Yeah.
The Midwest. We like Kansas over Lehigh.
Yeah. We don't need to do any commentary on the colossal raw deal that Kansas caught with this bracket because everybody's already kind of talked about it.
But it deserves to be mentioned again, though.
Whitlock's take was the best, which is, the tournament needs Duke in it as long as possible because of what they do in terms of the TV ratings. And since this is a contract year, they're negotiating the new TV deals, Duke gets the easiest bracket. Congratulations.
Whitlock's the greatest.
He's the best. Call him like he sees it.
I've already said he's the master of the derisive nickname.
That's absolutely true.
Roethlisberger was still coming out of the bathroom, and Whitlock was tweeting that he was Pac-Ben. And also Gal Sharpton for Sarah Palin is another classic.
That's a great one.
He's the master. It's going to be his legacy, derisive nicknames.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the most complimentary way possible. I think it's really hard to think of really funny derisive nicknames, and he can just roll them off like that, like nothing.
He's brilliant.
UNLV, Northern Iowa.
2 teams I know nothing about.
Good. Glad you're here on the podcast.
Do you have a point of view?
I'm going to look it up right now.
Oh, I see.
Well, UNLV has a leading scorer named Trevon, and there's an apostrophe between the Trey and the Von.
It's good to hear that UNLV is upholding the usual
apostrophe standards.
Yes, they have an important apostrophe tradition to uphold.
Northern Iowa, balanced and can go 10 deep, and they don't beat themselves. They beat Boston College, Iowa State, Iowa, Siena, Old Dominion, Wichita State.
So the only good win there sounds like Siena to me.
UNLV beat New Mexico, BYU, and Louisville. Let's go with UNLV.
Yeah, those are
more fun to root for anyway.
Yeah, those are 3 real teams.
Mich State, New Mexico State. Some people like New Mexico State as a sleeper.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm going to, again, demonstrate my lack of preparation and contribution to this podcast. When's the last time Michigan State lost in their first round?
Well, I was going to say, Tom Izzo. I'm just penciling him in.
Okay, all right.
Maryland, Houston. Maryland's your team.
Yeah, they're my team. I feel like they were really done a big favor, too, because I was all prepared after I watched the stink bomb that they laid in the ACC tourney to have them going out in the first round. But Houston, that's a team with 15 losses.
And I actually watched that game that they clinched, and they basically one guy just got hot. It was stupid.
Yeah.
Maryland. I'm penciling them in.
Yeah.
Tennessee, San Diego State. I actually have an opinion on this. I don't like the fact that people are just writing off Tennessee because they lost a couple guys. If anything, I think they've showed some pride all season, and I don't see it going down in round one for them. I think they put up a fight for a couple rounds.
No, I've been impressed with Tennessee all season.
Yeah. Tennessee, Georgetown, Ohio. You watch a lot of this Georgetown team.
Yeah, I like them. I like the way they're playing. They've been playing lately. They kind of got it back on track. They had a real dead spot there within the past couple of weeks, but they looked good in the tourney, and they look like they're ready to go.
G-Town.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State, Georgia Tech. I cannot pick Georgia Tech.
You're not a Hewitt guy?
I think between the coach and the guards, I'm not on that bandwagon.
Yeah. It's a real shame, too, because they really do have – I listened to Chad Ford yesterday.
Yeah.
With you, and which I enjoyed immensely as always. But they have two great big men, and not being able to figure out how to have those guys play complementary. And I know that it comes down to the guards. It's all about that guard play. But they were cheated.
Well. Hey, anytime people are saying if they can figure out a way to get these guys the ball inside, it's like, well, we've watched it for 4 months and they didn't figure out a way. And I don't think mid-March is going to be the time when the light bulb goes off.
So Oklahoma State.
And then we have Ohio State against UC Santa Barbara, which UC Santa Barbara would have been a fun team to root for, but I want Evan Turner to play as long as possible. Yeah. All right, let's go second round for this bracket.
Okay.
KU, UNLV, we like KU.
Yeah.
Michigan State, Maryland, two grizzled veteran good coaches, Tom Izzo, Gary Williams.
And two tough teams, Yeah. It's not like there's going to be a blowout in that game. I like Michigan State. I just feel like Maryland's overachieved all season, and losing in the second round feels like the sort of right outcome for the team. And
their ACC, and the ACC's been bad.
Yeah.
I agree. MSU. Tennessee, Georgetown.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as much of a given as people might think.
How about, let me throw this at you. Let's say you had to bet $5,000 in this game. Are you betting on Bruce Pearl or John Thompson III?
I'm betting on Bruce Pearl. What do you think of that?
Greg Monroe? Do we think that he could at any point just say, you know what, fellas, get on my back?
People have been waiting for it. He's shown lots of flashes of brilliance. The game he had against Duke back in January was outstanding. He doesn't strike me as having that personality.
I'm going to make a prediction. So if this is really the matchup, it's going to be Greg Monroe battling against Wayne Chisholm, senior, not a top 10 draft prospect, obviously. I think this will be one of those games where Wayne Chisholm outplays Greg Monroe, and then Greg Monroe, we're watching the draft, and they're like, I like Greg Monroe here at the 6th spot for so-and-so, and be like, didn't he get outplayed by Wayne Chisholm? What do you think of that call?
I like it.
All right, we haven't disagreed yet, which is bad.
Yeah.
Tennessee, and then Oklahoma State, OSU?
It's OSU to me.
We don't think James Anderson could potentially outdo Evan Turner?
I don't. I'm long Evan Turner. I love him.
I like him too. All right. So we agree on everything. Final. So I think. Oh no, we have Tennessee as the 6th seed. KU. We have them going to the final 8, right? Over Michigan State. Good run, Tom Izzo.
Yeah, right. Good work.
And Tennessee, Ohio State.
It's a OSU for me.
I agree. Setting up Kansas, Ohio State. What a great game that's going to be. I'm excited to watch it.
I really do feel like these are arguably the two best teams in the tournament, and it's arguable because Ohio State's a 2 seed. But if Turner hadn't gotten hurt, how many losses would the Ohio State team have had this year?
And also, how good would his stats have been?
Right.
Because he had a couple of games where he was slow to come back. I mean, I'm with you. I still like Kansas, though.
Yeah, I still like Kansas, too.
I just think at this point, you're going to need more than just Evan Turner to beat Kansas. And also, I think they can throw some guys at him and do some stuff. So let's go with Kansas.
Most complete
All right, we need to start disagreeing. Syracuse, Vermont. Some people are feeling Vermont has the chance to be the first 16 seed to do something.
No, I don't think
like that thought?
Not with this Syracuse team.
Gonzaga. That's
how we call it. That's how you pronounce my high school, which is Gonzaga College High School here in the District of Columbia.
They're playing Florida State in the city of Buffalo.
I like Florida State. I've been wholly underwhelmed by Gonzaga this year. They didn't show me anything. Not one thing.
I kind of agree, too. I forgot to look up one thing, and somebody sent me this link. We got to find out where Gus Johnson's going to be. Because if memory serves me correct, I think he's doing the Buffalo games. But I might be wrong. If he's doing the Buffalo games, we have to go back and reconsider this. But I'm with you. Let's go FSU.
Well, why?
Because if he's doing then at least we have to point out that Vermont is going to have a chance to beat Syracuse if Gus Johnson is at that game.
Oh, that's a good point.
Butler, Texas El Paso.
I, for some reason, have a UTEP frame of mind. And I don't have a strong.
I'm looking it up. For some reason. Thanks for coming on. Oh, they have two good guys. I watched them and they didn't they.
Yeah, they have right. Derek.
They were on this weekend,
and they have that inside-outside thing that I liked. I knew that there was a reason that I liked UTEP.
I'm not sold on it. Butler had the 20 in a row.
So here's who Butler beat: Georgetown, Ohio State, Xavier. They lost to Georgetown. Notable results. So they lost to Georgetown. They beat Ohio State. They beat Xavier. They lost to Clemson.
And they have one good guy, Gordon Hayward.
And UTEP.
I like UTEP. Let's go with it.
Their best wins are against UAB. They lost to BYU by 6, and they lost twice to Houston.
But both times Houston just got hot. Let's go with UTEP.
Okay.
Screw it.
Right.
Vandy, Murray State.
I like Vandy. I like the SEC. I like the second-tier SEC teams this year. I've seen Vanderbilt play well. I've seen Tennessee play well.
I agree. Xavier, Minnesota.
I was impressed by the run that Minnesota went on in the Big Ten tournament, but I don't think I saw enough to make me think that they can beat Xavier. And Xavier is one of those, they're sneakily successful in the tournament.
Yeah, they always win at least one game. The only reason I was thinking about taking Minnesota was that they have Ralph Sampson III.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is great. There's a whole collection of those kids this year.
Yeah, well, the first one, the guy who broke the ice, I think, was Patrick Ewing Jr.
Yeah, right.
And
right.
that really set the tone for the era.
Larry Drew III is, well, North Carolina is not in the tournament.
I'm going to take let's put down Xavier for that. Pittsburgh, Oakland. How fun would it be if Oakland beat Pittsburgh? I just want to root for Oakland.
I don't know why. Why do you want to root for Oakland?
Because it's Oakland. I mean, how great. Did you know, are they Oakland University? Are they Oakland College? What is Oakland? I don't even know. Is it the city of Oakland? Is this an Oakland town team?
Yeah. Where are they? Where are they from?
The Oakland Golden Grizzlies.
Here are their notable results. Lost to Kansas by 30. Lost to Syracuse by 32. Lost to Wisconsin by 16.
All right.
Thanks for coming.
Pittsburgh it is. All right, BYU I'm not even listening to. I love BYU.
Yeah, I don't have an argument against it.
Kansas State, North Texas.
Got to be Kansas State. They're great.
All right.
Plus Frank Martin. We need a lot of Frank Martin in our lives this weekend.
Sal and I talked about him. He's a maniac.
He's a maniac.
He will be the next coach who chokes one of his players and gets kicked out of basketball.
He's the face of March Madness. He's literally mad.
He's the angry face of March Madness.
He's the angry face of March Madness.
Syracuse, round 2 over Florida State.
Yeah.
Vandy versus UTEP. I like Vandy.
I like Vandy, too. I think that Vandy-Syracuse game is going to be a good one.
That's good for Vandy. Like they got some momentum rolling. Had a nice season. Okay, stole a little thunder in the South. They win a couple rounds. That's a good outcome for them.
Yeah.
Xavier, Pittsburgh. I don't know enough about Pittsburgh.
I watched them. They were kind of hot and cold. When you look at their resume, they have some good wins. I'm going to tell you about some.
Villanova, Syracuse, and West Virginia. Impressive.
Yeah, right. They've beaten some good guys. They had some bad losses too, though. They were 3-2 against the top 25.
I like that coach. Let's go with Pittsburgh.
Jamie Dixon?
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
We'll go one more round. All right, now here's where we're going to argue. I like BYU against Kansas State, and you like Kansas State.
So let me look at this. Let's look at the breakdown.
I like BYU. I like their guards. They fit the House Simmons formula of that their guards can score 55 points in a game.
You're in the tank for Jimmer.
I love the Jimmer.
You're a Jimmer guy.
Love the Jimmer. I actually went and YouTubed him yesterday to make sure that I liked him as much as I felt like I was liking him, to make sure it was legitimate, and it is.
They were 2-2 against the top 25, and it seems like
Jimmer dropped 45 in the tournament.
I
mean, that's legitimate. You dropped 45 in a college game, you're legitimate. And with good competition?
He had 49 earlier this season.
I like Jimmer.
Yeah. I like Kansas State because of how balanced they are.
Yeah.
And they beaten good teams. I mean, they didn't beat Kansas, but all three of those games were tight games. I watched the last one. They beat Baylor twice. They beat the hell out of Texas A&M. They won by 23.
Here's the USA Today blurb. The Cats can be turnover prone. They're below average at the line. I don't like either of those things.
That's not a rousing endorsement. That's not very nice to a team that only lost 7 games this year. The second best team out of the Big 12, which I think everybody agrees is the best conference in college basketball this year, or right up there with the Big East.
They beat some good teams. Dayton, Xavier, UNLV, Texas A&M, Baylor.
I'm going to let you go ahead and take BYU, but my pick there is Kansas State.
No, you can talk me out of BYU. It does seem kind of dumb. Kansas State's a monster. You really want to root against Jimmer?
Their wins aren't very. Their two most noteworthy wins is beating San Diego State twice. They lost twice to New Mexico, and they lost by 10 to Utah State.
Well, they're pretty soft up front, looks like.
I love the hot shooting team, though. I mean, believe me. What's more fun than watching somebody go off?
Jimmer shot 47.2% from 3. Jackson Emery shot 42%. Screw it. I trust you on Kansas State. K-State.
They're balanced. That's why I like them.
Syracuse, Vandy. By the way, if BYU beats Kansas State, I'm not going to talk to you for like a month.
If BYU beats Kansas State, okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to talk to you until April.
That.
Syracuse, Vandy.
Syracuse, Vandy.
I think that's about it for Vandy.
Yeah. So let's look at the lineup here. Right. The projected win odds: 76% in favor of Syracuse. 24% for Vandy.
Let's go Syracuse. Pick Kansas State. We better ride Kansas State at this point because you just made me pick them. Yeah,
Kansas State. Well, I'm happy to ride them. I have them. Look, I'm looking at my bracket. I have them in this. I have them in the Final Four.
All right, I'm going to ride you because only because I agree with you. The Big 12. Watching all these games as a casual fan, it just seemed like the quality of play in the Big 12 was superior to the other games I was watching. Agree or disagree? No,
I agree. That's exactly what I think. That's my point of view.
I don't like that coach, though.
There is that thing.
Can he really win 4 straight games doing that? So
there you go. Right. And if this is the thing that's the counter argument against picking Kansas State to go to the Final Four here is this one of those Syracuse years? You know, we've seen those Syracuse years. They happen like once every 4 years.
Let's go with Syracuse.
Okay, let's go with Syracuse.
I don't trust Frank Martin.
You know, we've just done 2
1-2s. I know
2 1-2s and the ones in the Final Four.
I'm glad we're here.
Congratulations. You know, this is the thing. So last year, you and I made selections based on what we wanted to happen, what
like
we thought
BYU.
would make a fun tournament.
Yeah.
And it was terrible because it was a chalk tournament. This year is supposed to be wide open, and who knows what is coming from where, and we're going chalk. Just want to make that observation.
Well, again, I'm glad you're here. Kentucky, pencil them in.
Yeah.
Texas, Wake Forest. I'm not taking Wake Forest.
I would like to take neither. Can I pass on that?
Yeah, we'll take Texas, but I think somebody will lose. Something horrible is going to happen in that game to somebody on somebody's team.
It could be a forfeit.
Temple Cornell, tough one. Everybody likes these two teams.
That's exactly right. So there were a few of these matchups, and I was listening to the Milliman podcast as well yesterday that I enjoyed very much. Why do those two teams have to play each other?
Because the NCAA sucks.
It really does. It's no fun.
I'm going to take Temple only because I repeatedly called the Argentinian on Temple. I called him Spanish over and over again. I feel terrible. I've antagonized all of Argentina, and I've lost a lot of my Q rating in Argentina is way down.
You need to have Ginobili on a podcast.
I feel terrible. I don't know how I screwed that up. I in my head, because the Pepe Sanchez, who is Spanish.
That's where you were calling him, I think.
Well, he is Spanish, but he's been tutoring the guy, and I saw a whole thing about that, and for some reason in my brain it was Spanish, but it was Argentinian.
All right.
I apologize. Wisconsin, Wooford.
I guess I'm going to accept that. I'm not going to try and mount the Jay Billis argument for Cornell.
I feel like he jinxed them. He was so adamant about it.
Probably right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Too bandwagony.
I'm writing in Temple.
Marquette, Washington. I like Marquette for a round.
I like Marquette also. Wait, you skipped Wisconsin, Wofford.
I put them in already.
Oh, sorry.
New Mexico, Montana.
I have to confess I haven't seen 1 second of New Mexico this whole year. I have no opinion. Have you seen them?
No.
Let's see what the...
Let's go to the blurbs.
Let's go to the blurbs.
All right. New Mexico. Well...
They have some good wins.
Steve Alford.
Oh, yeah. Steve Alford.
Player of the Year, Darrington Hobson.
They only lost 4 games.
They lost to San Diego State.
They also beat them. They won once and lost twice to San Diego State. They beat Texas A&M. They beat Cal. They beat BYU twice. That's kind of noteworthy.
Montana came back from 22 down against Weber State in the Big Sky Championship game.
I mean,
their best win is Oregon.
So that's it. So
I'm going to take New Mexico. Sorry, Oregon.
New Mexico.
Sorry, Montana. New Mex. Clemson, Missouri.
I pick Missouri only because of that Big 12 factor and
the ACC blows.
Underwhelmed, precisely. I did it on principle.
West Virginia. Pencil them in.
Yeah.
Next round, Kentucky, Texas, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Temple, Wisconsin. I like both of these teams.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like Temple. I want to put them in.
It's a good slugfest.
You okay with Temple?
I kind of am not.
Why?
Because I just think that here, and I'm going to give you some data to back it up. It's an extraordinarily even matchup according to the projected win odds. Wisconsin is favored 50.6% versus Temple at 49.4%. I like Wisconsin and Bo Ryan.
Do you know who's on Temple?
Tournament.
Do you know who's on Temple?
No.
Boogie Nights star Luis Guzman. He is. You can look it up.
Wait, his son? Or there is a...
No, it's the actual guy from Boogie Nights. Is that guy? No, his name's Luis Guzman.
Oh, okay.
All right, here could be a good decider. Bo Ryan, 11-8 in the NCAAs of Wisconsin. Fran Dunphy of Temple, 1-11.
Yeah, that's it. It was taking me too long to make the point. The Badgers commit the fewest turnovers in the nation. That does it for me.
All right, Wisconsin.
2 disciplined teams, but...
Marquette, New Mexico.
Marquette.
Let's go Marquette.
Yeah,
It'll be
like
fun to have
Marquette.
2 Wisconsin teams in there.
I like Marquette.
All right.
All right, Chip will be battling more than usual.
2 teams. That's our friend Chip who battles. Finally, Missouri, West Virginia. I do like this West Virginia team.
Me too. They're built for the long haul.
West Virginia. Kentucky, Wisconsin.
So this is the one, right? The kids from Kentucky against a team that doesn't make any mistakes and milks the hell out of the shot clock.
Oh, I like the way you're thinking.
I mean, there's a certain thing here. I'm going to look and see. So Kentucky's projected win odds is 61% and Wisconsin at 39%. But the tournament, if nothing else, we've learned over the years, it's a style of play tournament. So the guys that control the style of play tend to have success. Especially in a lower seed versus higher seed context. They somebody that's not as talented can steal a game from a team that is sort of unprepared and undisciplined.
Let's do it. Let's take a chance.
I'm not saying that Kentucky is either unprepared or undisciplined. They're just young.
Yeah. Let's take a chance.
I can easily see that sour face on DeMarcus Cousins for all 40 minutes.
And so let's go West Virginia and Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then we'll take West Virginia.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I like
that. Let's do it.
Right? Doesn't that make sense?
Quick thoughts on Kentucky, because we talked about them in detail this weekend. Too young. Bad habit of not really rallying to the occasion until their back's to the wall. On the bright side, I do think John Wall is about as invested. He's super competitive. I love that. I loved how he tackled Cousins. Some people were down on that. I loved it after the putback.
Yes.
I think he thought they had actually won the game, but I watched that play on TiVo. First of all, I was watching that thinking, if they miss this free throw, I bet he gets the rebound. Just because he's one of those, he has that DNA.
My God, he was right to it.
He was right to it.
A honing device.
And I watched him, and I was watching it live, and I fixated on him the whole time. And it's that same. I'm not comparing him to MJ. I'm not comparing him to LeBron. I'm just talking about the athletic DNA of I've got to get this ball. And he went and he got it. And it maybe it's a coincidence to some degree that it just bounced the way it did, but he chased it down.
Yeah, that's right. He got to it. He got to the ball.
He did short arm a couple in regulation, but then made up for it with the big three. But
yeah.
I see a hunger from him that it will be tough to finish his team off, but they are too young. They miss too many free throws.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that might make this Wisconsin pick look silly in retrospect is the second-tier guys at Kentucky are awesome. Eric Bledsoe and Patterson.
I love Bledsoe.
Yeah, those guys are both capable of sort of taking the team by the neck.
But I like you had a good point, though, about how Wisconsin, this is what they do. They make you play their style, and it's frustrating.
It feels like they can impose their will, which is the thing that might get the upset. And we had to go off the chalk. So that's our first non-chalk, high-tier selection. So let's ride it out.
And more importantly, we thought West Virginia was going to win this regional anyway, so why not take a chance?
Yeah.
Duke, that other region, Duke, pencil them in, play-in winner. California, Louisville, I don't know.
I like Louisville.
Really?
Well, only because
Pac-10 sucks?
Yes, that's really it.
I want to look this up. It makes me nervous to take Pitino at any point in time. And he's so much fun to root against.
When's the last time that he lost in the first round? Is it recent?
No, it's happened.
Cal's projected, by the way.
What do you mean?
Well, they're in terms of these win odds. I don't subscribe to this. There are notable results. They lost twice to Washington. They lost to Syracuse by 22, and they lost to New Mexico by 8. Those are notable results. Louisville at least beat Syracuse twice.
Plus, if Louisville wins, that means one more game that we can make jokes about the Pitino table.
That's true. Oh, the Pitino table. That's it. Finally, I was sitting here thinking, what am I going to name my team in the BS report this year? We've got it. There's my name. Hooray! I was going to do the People's Bracket, but no. The Pitino table. Thank you. Thank you. Table for two?
Texas A&M, Utah State.
I like Texas A&M. I'm doing that conference bigotry again.
Utah State. Oh God.
Let's look at it a little bit.
17-game winning streak.
They beat BYU. They lost to St. Mary's, and they beat New Mexico once and lost to them twice. Texas A&M split with Baylor, lost by 7 to West Virginia.
I like it. We've been riding the Big 12, so let's keep going.
Okay. I mean, that's it. Like I say, conference bigotry.
Purdue, I want to put Purdue in. I think one Ewing theory game for them. Everybody's too willing to write them off. Let's just put them in.
That's a disrespect for Siena. Who
they're not getting disrespected. They're like 2-point underdogs right now.
Yeah, well, and I'm just saying that 4-13, a 13 upset of a 4. They've demonstrated their ability to do that. They don't have any good wins. I'm looking at it right now. 0-3 against the top 25. Lost to Butler, big. Lost to Temple. Lost to Northern Iowa. Okay, it's Purdue. I'm good with that. I like the Ewing theory.
Notre Dame, we got to pick for Joe Meade at least one game.
We do?
Yeah. Why, you don't want to?
I kind of like ODU. I watched them a little bit. I think that conference is pretty good.
The Colonial Athletic Association?
Yes, I actually watched some games. I watched William & Mary beat Maryland early this year. William & Mary was a quality basketball team.
Notre Dame.
We're looking at it. Notre Dame went on a nice tear at the end of the season, though. Yeah, look at Old Dominion. They beat Georgetown.
Fine. Say no more, because Joe Meade called in sick today, so let's take Old Dominion.
Yeah, Joe Meade's not here. Who cares?
I don't care if he's sick and he can't speak. He called in sick. And then Baylor we're going to take.
Yeah, we like Baylor.
And then Richmond St. Mary's. I actually like St. Mary's.
So
I don't know why.
you've seen a lot of, and I know that
I do like St. Mary's.
That center.
Yeah.
What's his name? Sam Han?
Stoner and I did a game of theirs a couple years ago, 3 years ago actually, and he was a freshman, and he was this fat kid, and I became enchanted by him as the game went along because you could tell he had the tools, and now he's actually in shape, and I feel like I need to ride it out with him for one round, one win.
Okay, I'll go along with that.
And they also
Richmond has some good wins, by the way, though.
I know.
I'm just looking. Okay, I'm good with St. Mary's. I'll take that.
They also have a kid who drains threes left and right. Let me look up his name. Mickey McConnell. Over 50% on threes this year, but he's one of those Steve Kerr types, but for college.
Look at this. They have 5 Australians on St. Mary's.
I know. I'm telling you.
Omar Samhan. All right.
Don't be surprised in round 2.
I'm in for...
And then we go Nova.
Down for Omar.
Nova over Robert Morris.
Yeah, Nova. Right.
Apologies to Robert Morris, who seems like a good guy. Duke against Louisville.
Yeah, I mean...
2 of the greats, 2 great coaches. Oh, here's the handshake. Duke, let's
I don't
pencil
think
in Duke.
it's going to be that close of a game, to be honest with you.
A&M Purdue?
Is this where it ends for Purdue?
The Ewing theory says that they should win another round. We'd be going against our Big 12 thing, though.
Yeah, that's right. A&M against Purdue. What did Purdue do?
We need one nobody believes in us Ewing theory team. Let's go Purdue one more round.
What did they do in the Big Ten tourney?
They did well, didn't they?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Did you just come across something?
Yeah, they lost by 27 to Minnesota in the conference semifinals. They do have a guy with an apostrophe, though. Each one more.
I don't know.
All right, fine. We'll stick to our Big 12 thing. But I will say there's some major Ewing theory potential and some major nobody believed in us when Robbie went down. Everybody wrote us off. We were down to.
You're on the record. You're on the record for Purdue and for BYU.
Yeah, great. That's going to do me a lot of good. Old Dominion Baylor. I like Baylor.
Yeah, we like Baylor.
St. Mary's Nova.
That's interesting. Let's see let's go to the videotape. So maybe it's not that close. Right, I forgot. Villanova is. They had a little bit of a soft spot here, right, in the last 2 weeks.
The thing to like about Nova is that they're old. They have all seniors and juniors.
Yeah, that's right. 6-6 in the last 12 games. But all those guys, too, all those vets are guys who played deep into the tournament a couple different times. So that's going to do it for me. You
know how every year there's that one guy, it feels like he's been in school for 8 years?
Yeah, it's Scotty Reynolds, isn't it?
It's so Scotty Reynolds. I'm convinced he's been at Villanova since 2002. He's been there forever.
Yeah.
So you want to go Nova, or you want to take one more chance?
No, Nova.
All right.
I think they're going to thrash St. Mary's.
Duke, A&M. God dang it, Duke.
Yeah, God dang it, Duke.
Ridiculous. Should we just want to get rid of them now?
I think, actually, it'll be more painful for them to lose with the possibility of returning to the Final Four.
Yeah, so, Texas A&M doesn't shoot free throws.
Yeah.
65%.
So I'm...
You know what? Screw you. I'm putting Purdue in.
Purdue over Texas A&M?
Yeah. You can go to hell. I gave you Kansas State. You're going to give me Purdue. I want to root for the nobody believed in us.
Okay. I'm putting that in parentheses over here on the one I'm doing by hand.
This is our bracket. We have to agree. I gave you K-State.
Okay. Purdue's in. They're not going to beat Duke, and I guess that's the point. What you're saying is since it doesn't matter anyway, we're penciling in Duke.
Let me fast forward to Sunday afternoon to you. Robbie, you must be so proud of your guys. Keep fighting like this after you went down. Oh, I could have been more excited. Nobody believed in us. Come on.
All right, fine.
Baylor, Nova, I think the single toughest call of the first two rounds.
We didn't pick Purdue over Duke.
No, we have Duke.
Yeah, okay.
Baylor, Nova.
Baylor, Nova. So, hold on a second. You distracted me. I was already looking that one up before you went backwards.
We should mention that Baylor's two best guys. The first guy is named Lace Darius.
Okay.
It's LACE Darius. Done.
You know what? One game that I think we're going to play when we're all together watching the games, we're going to play player name spelling bee.
Oh.
We're going to have a spelling bee. We're going to have Jacko or somebody's going to read out names, and we're going to try and spell them.
Lace Darius would have been a good one.
That would. You can ring the bell right now.
And then their other best guy is named Tweety.
That's a great one.
And they have a shot blocker whose name is Ekby.
So they were 9-3 their last 12 games. What did they do in the Big 12 tournament?
Remember what Chad Millman said?
I don't remember what he said. What did he say?
The Sharps love Baylor. They're riding Baylor all season.
Huh. Well, that's an indication of their competence against the line, which doesn't necessarily mean that they win.
Just saying.
They lost twice to Kansas State. They beat Texas 3 times. They split with Texas A&M. They bang inside with a diverse set of offensive weapons. One of the biggest teams in the tournament. So that seems like a thing that might give Villanova trouble, right? Villanova's guard heavy, but we also
here's the counter for Baylor is that they're very, very sexy right now.
Yeah, right.
And I mean that in the least gross way possible. It's a very sexy pick. You want to put a nightgown on Baylor and just admire them.
I have them in a Final Four on one of the brackets I've done already.
Very sexy.
The one I'm looking at right now, they're in the Final Four. So what do you want to do? It's a little bit of a team that's big against a guard-dominated team, and we have the experience in the tournament over the years of guard-dominated teams having wild success.
I feel invested in Scotty Reynolds after watching him graduate college after 9 grueling years. Okay. Let's take Scotty.
It's Nova.
Nova.
Didn't Nova beat Duke last year?
Let's take this is where we got to go against Duke.
Well, but so now I just want to call to your attention. We have 3 Big East teams we have 3 Big East teams and a Big 12 team.
Where?
In the Final Four.
No, that's not true. We have West Virginia, Kansas. We do have Syracuse.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at it.
Oh. That's stupid.
Well, the bracket that I've done, I have Kansas, Kansas State, and Baylor, and Wisconsin. That's my Final Four in this other bracket that I have going.
Let's look at this Duke team again.
It just doesn't look or feel like a Final Four team. I mean, it's kind of an indictment of this year's tournament that, we're trying to talk ourselves into Duke, who has the easiest path to the Final Four of anybody.
3 Big East teams, though. That feels wrong. I don't like that.
It's why I have, on this other little side bracket that I've been referencing, Baylor in there.
Maybe we have to go back. Baylor. A lot of people
They're
like
too
them.
sexy, though. You've convinced me of that now. I think it's right to have them losing to Nova.
Nova's got a good coach, too.
Can we have Duke lose to Purdue?
Well, isn't Duke, I mean, not a lot of people throwing Duke in the Final Four, maybe. It's almost like a counter pick.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of a good point.
Everyone's taking Nova or Baylor because nobody wants to take Duke.
Yeah.
Go against the grain, you take Duke.
Yeah. Hold our nose. We're going to hold our nose and take Duke. Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't like it. Sorry, America.
Duke.
The Patino table apologizes.
I do want to root for Scotty Reynolds, though.
Well, we're going to, I mean, what do you want to do? We could have 3 Big East teams.
Gunpoint, Duke Nova, your life depends on it. Who do you think wins that game?
My life depends on it?
Yeah.
Duke.
All right, let's take Duke. Final Four, Kansas, Syracuse, West Virginia, and Duke.
That's 3 1s and a 2.
No, it's... Oh, yeah, you're right. No. It's 2 2s and 2 1s.
Wait, who? No. Kansas is a 1, Syracuse is a 1, Duke is a 1.
And West Virginia's a 2.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I thought we had Kansas State in the finals.
The chalk bracket in a year that chalk's no good.
Damn it. You sure we don't want to take Tweety and Lace Darius?
Where? From who?
Yeah, they're too sexy. Baylor.
Yeah, right. That would be Baylor over Nova, Baylor over Duke, and Baylor in the Final Four.
Let's just take Nova over Duke. Screw Duke.
Okay, fine. Screw Duke. There you go, America. We're back.
We're back. We're back on your side.
Yeah. 3
Big East teams somehow. And even though I watched the Big East tournament all weekend wondering how the hell they were going to have so many high seeds.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Kansas over Syracuse. Right?
Yeah.
And West Virginia over Duke?
I love it. I think that's a great final.
West Virginia over... Oh, I'm sorry, West Virginia over Villanova.
Over Nova, yeah. Sorry, right.
Sure you want to take Nova over Duke?
I just can't take Duke. You know, it's in my blood.
Well, then we should probably take Purdue over Duke too.
Well, that was the thing. I can't handle that.
You can't handle Purdue over Duke?
I can't handle Purdue over Duke. No.
Okay. All right. So you're drawing the line at that, but you will take Nova over Duke.
I don't think the team that lost by 20, what did it say, 27 to Minnesota the week before is going to beat Duke in a week and a half.
So our final is Kansas beating West Virginia by a score of 75 to 70.
That sounds like one of those scores.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. 75.
I'm happy with that.
I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if Syracuse loses. Like if Syracuse loses to Vandy or something, and somebody like Kansas State or even Vanderbilt come out of that bracket. Syracuse is the one I sort of feel least confident in.
Well, why don't we could take Vandy over Syracuse and then Vandy over K-State.
Let me look at that matchup. What's Vandy against
Let's talk
K-State?
about that. We're not locked in yet.
Yeah, we're not locked in yet. What's Vandy over K-State look like?
The only thing with Syracuse is they do have guys like Wesley Johnson is going to be a very good pro and a top 5 pick. So
yeah,
that
does
right. Fit one qualification that we have.
So, but here's the thing. I'm not sure I've seen games, and I watched a lot of Syracuse this year. I'm not sure I've seen him take over any games. I mean, I'd love somebody to throw that up in my face. I wouldn't take offense. What are we looking at? Vanderbilt, Kansas State?
Right. So we could...
It's not a very good matchup.
We could push K-State all the way through.
Do you have a problem with that? That means it's Kansas State in the Final Four. And West Virginia Nova. 2 Big 12s and 2 Big Easts. There's a certain logic to that.
I don't see that guy Frank Martin winning 4 in a row.
No,
I just don't.
Angry Frank.
Angry Frank is not going to pull it off. And I don't like Vandy enough. I think we're stuck with what we have.
Which is Syracuse?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Feel the best. I mean, going by the life depending on a test.
Yeah.
KU, Syracuse, West Virginia, and Villanova. Yeah.
We're going to ride it.
And odds are we're wrong. So if you have that Final Four, I'm sorry, you're screwed.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was a 7%er. Last year was a 7%er.
Is that true?
You're welcome, America. Get Joe Meade to look it up whenever he gets off his deathbed.
Yeah. All right. Well, when Joe gets off deathbed, we'll ask him.
I know the president whooped us. That's all I know.
I'll see you in a couple days. We have something in store for America on Thursday. And
I'm looking forward to it.
I'll see you in California.
See you in California.
So I get to sign off. Whoa!
Thank you for downloading the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Pod Center at ESPNRadio.com.
Peace out.
To thank you for making Subway footlongs famous. Now enjoy any regular footlong as a $5 footlong. That's right, any, including your favorites like the savory chicken, bacon, and ranch. Any Subway regular footlong is just $5. Hurry in.